So our topics for today are getting listings by door knocking with Melissa, which I'm super excited about. And then we also have pros and cons of pocket listings with Cristiano, which we'll be diving into in just a moment. But let's start with getting listings by door knocking. Melissa Case, top producer, IPC coach. I think Real Estate Diva is also on your card.
Not quite a diva.
Not quite a diva. Real Estate Ruler. Mogul. Right, there it is. Sorry. I knew it was something unique on your card. I just didn't know what. So, Melissa, why don't you talk to us a little bit about door knocking? But before we dive in on that, why the focus on listings?
Oh, right now actually it's kind of evening out with between buyers and sellers, but we just got out of a really nice seller's market.
Right.
So everyone should have been concentrating on obtaining listings.
Right.
Even if you like buyers, listings bring buyers.
Right. And buyers don't bring listings.
No, they don't.
Well, they do, but it's 7 to 10 years down the road.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Or you might get lucky and they can turn
3.
into a referral. 3.
Right.
Oh, 3. You tell
if
them
you ask
3.
for referrals.
Correct. Which is a different radio show for a different day. So let's dive in on door knocking.
Can we get another piece of housekeeping?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
Because you know what I need to do.
I don't know, and now
Yes,
I'm
you
nervous.
do.
Oh, God. Okay, go ahead.
I need to get my shout-outs out.
Oh, shout-outs. This is our official first radio show shout-out, I believe.
No, it's the second.
Second, because the last time you were here?
I did a shout-out.
All right, shout it out.
So, first of all, to our tech department.
Yes.
Because they're awesome.
Super awesome, especially Joe, who's sitting right next to me.
And my personal tech guy, Michael Ficarius.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Okay. Any other shouts of the out?
Yes.
That we need to, okay, all right, go ahead. It's your show.
Team Annihilate.
Oh, boy.
Who's listening right now.
Yeah.
You guys are killing it with those listings.
A lot of people. Yeah, yay! Now, for the people that have absolutely no idea what Team Annihilate means, why don't you go ahead and provide a little context?
Oh, okay. So I'm an IPC coach, a corporate coach for Better Homes and Gardens, and I have 2 teams. One's Team Annihilate, and they should be listening right now.
Or what?
I'm going to hold them accountable.
Yeah. Good. All right.
Okay.
Oh, yikes. Hey, quick question already from the audience. You said it, quote, was a seller's market, unquote. Not that again, different radio show for a different time, but let's go there. Why did you put it that way?
Well, it still actually is a seller's market,
Yes.
but it's good for buyers right now, too. Even though interest rates have rose,
Yes.
they're still relatively, if you look at the forest,
History? Yes.
they're still low, and the market's softening, so buyers have a better chance of getting into escrow. I just wrote 1 contract, got into escrow, under asking with closing costs in Clayton.
What?
Crazy.
Shut the front door.
No.
Wow, crazy. Yeah, what we are seeing, and good question, Davey, thanks for asking it. What we're seeing is, at least from macro, as far as all the company statistics, we're moving from an environment where you had extremely, so sub 1 month of listing inventory. We were measuring it in days and weeks as opposed to months, more to what I'll describe as a normalized listing inventory market, where now we're seeing instead of 13, 14, 18, 33 offers on most properties, we see 3, 4, maybe 5, and those are usually the darlings of the week that always come on that everyone falls in love with. And then there's a couple of the less darlings of the week that may slip through the cracks. So it's we're moving towards a reduction in the rate of appreciation and a more healthy but still robust market. You agree with that?
I totally agree with that.
All right, we'll ask our next guests the same question as well, because I'm always curious with the machinations and movements in the market. All right, so now that we've got our shout-outs done,
yes,
and
we can get on the business.
We can get on the business?
All right.
Okay, cool. Let's talk about door knocking. You're a strong believer in the power of door knocking. I know you do it a lot. I know you do it all the time. I see the calluses on your knuckles from rapping on doors. So how do you coach agents to get listings this way? I mean, just tell me about door knocking from a macro or high level standpoint.
Macro, I believe you should do your sphere and your open houses first, and then after you've excelled in those things, start your farm, start door knocking. It's a great way to generate listings. It's a great way to get yourself seen in the community.
Now because it's my show, I'm going to kind of jump all over you. Can you handle that?
Yeah.
I knew you could. So you say door knock your sphere. What do you mean by that? You mean
no, not door knock. Start with your, how I coach is basically, just so we're clear, I do contact your sphere, ask them for business, hold open houses, Once you've excelled in that, we move on to farming.
Okay. And so as far as open house, you believe we should door knock for open?
Darn right, for listings.
So when you go door knock for open houses, what do you bring? What do you say? I'm getting really tactical, and this may be in here later.
No, this is an excellent question. Yeah. So right now I'm going after listings. I know that the buyers will come, whether it's through Zillow, Trulia, their agent, Redfin, whatever website their agent sending them. I'm going to get buyers through my open house. Right. I want to get neighbors through my open house.
So what collateral do you bring when you door knock? And what do you
I bring an invitation.
To the open house.
Right. Okay. And it's a little postcard that says you're invited.
Aw. Everybody loves to get invited to stuff.
And prizes for neighbors only.
And, what prizes do you give away?
It depends.
Like
sometimes,
a business card?
Well, I usually do my open houses. If it's the first open, priced right, nice house, I do a mega open.
Okay.
Which I have.
If you aren't sure what a mega open is, we have
Jimmy Tam.
Yeah, you can talk to Jimmy Tam in our Grand Lake office. We also have a video on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, that describes what a mega open is and how to do it. Awesome. Keep going.
Okay, so I either get baskets or gift cards together. Okay. I like the baskets because I can put them out at the open house and like you could win this and we hang around and ooh and all over it.
All right. So you knock on a door and you just say, hey, I wanted to personally invite you to come to
the open house. Yes. Okay. And if they engage me in conversation, oh, how's the market? What's it listed for? I will ask more service-oriented questions. Are you thinking about selling? Stuff like that. Even ask for their contact information. If they seem guarded, I just hand them and hope you come. There's refreshments.
And then sprint off the porch to the next one.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. And how many doors will you knock on before an open house?
At least 100.
At least 100. How long does that take you?
If I door knock, it takes 2 hours or more depending on the neighborhood.
Yes. Like a bunch of hills and it's 200 degrees out like it was this weekend. Yeah, no fun.
But see, the beauty in this is that I usually partner with other agents that will do it with me.
Got it.
So we'll have anywhere from 200 to 400 invitations out in a neighborhood.
So your model then is before an open house, you will knock on about 200 doors, or for 2 hours you'll go door knock before the open house. You do that on Saturday or on Sunday before?
I do Friday.
You do it on Friday?
Thursday or Friday. Okay. Preferably Friday.
Okay. Thursday or Friday, you'll go door knock for your Sunday open.
I'll run out of time on Saturday or Sunday.
Got it. Fair enough. All right. Hey, we're all the way to slide 2. We are off like a herd of turtles. But I'm just trying to pepper Melissa with questions because I know she's knocked on probably as many or more doors as anyone in the company. So you're speaking from experience.
I have a new agent that's probably coming up close to me.
Yeah?
He's on a mission.
How come that guy's not getting a shout out?
Hey, Ashton, way to go door knocking 50 doors every day.
See, if anybody deserves a shout out, it's door knocker guy. By the way, I've met Ashton. He will be very successful in this business. And he has calluses on his knuckles as well from knocking on doors. And his toes and his feet.
Blisters.
Yeah, uncomfortable shoes. All right. How should agents be leveraging their listings when door knocking? We've talked a little bit about this. Invite to the open house. You do it 2 weeks prior.
I send out, sometimes I'll do just coming soon.
Okay.
That's not an invitation.
Okay, got it.
Then the Friday before, I invite them to the open house.
Got it.
And then after the open house, when I'm door knocking to invite them, sometimes I'll even, if they're open to it, I'll say, would you like me to come back and let you know how the open house went if you can't, if you're not able to make it?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great.
That'd be amazing.
Right.
Okay. And then, so really, you're just taking a listing and creating a bunch of leverageable moments that would be meaningful and impactful to neighbors.
Right.
And using that as your reason to door knock. Okay. That's cool. So here are 3 great things. As far as collateral for after the open house or after the close, are you bringing an MLS printout? Or what are you bringing?
So once I go into pending, I like to door knock. I had, 70 people through my open house, and I happen to know the open house down the street only had 40 people. So I kind of let them know that my marketing strategy, the more people through my house, the more chance for more offers, which in this softening market is actually a plus.
So list with me, list with me, list with me.
Exactly.
Okay. How do you track, and again, I know I'm sort of bouncing between high strategic and all the way down to tactics, but I think it will be helpful for the listeners. How do you manage, okay, I walked on the 123 Elm, I had a nice conversation with Joe, and I need to make sure and go back to him. Do you use a card system? Is there an app for that?
I use a contact management system.
Use the contact management system. Okay. And so you'll go in right then? I mean, like literally, how do you?
Actually, I take notes on a notepad. I have a door knocking binder that I take notes on my notepad, and then I go enter them into my CRM. CRM.
Yes. And then you'll just update all the notes.
Right.
Okay. All right. Cool.
And when I'm going to touch them again, especially if I got their name, address, phone number, email.
Yeah.
And I usually walk away with my first open or with my first door knocking to invite them. I usually walk away with 2 or 3 names. The pendings, I usually walk away with 5 everything.
Yeah.
Name, address, phone number, email. 5, and then after close, probably about 5 more, not including the names and numbers I get from the open house.
So you'll get 10 to 15 name, telephone number, email address, and physical address people added to your database or whatever contact management tool you're using per listing that you have. That's great.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Very cool.
And they all own homes. That's what I like about it.
Right, which is important.
Because I need to eat later. Even if they don't want to sell right now, I need to eat in 3 years.
Well, and you've had that love connection, right?
Right.
And so what you're really doing is using door knocking to grow your sphere of influence.
Exactly.
And then you drop them into your normal sphere of influence marketing plan?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And so that way when they think about selling, they think of you.
Right.
Okay, perfect. Nice. Well done. No wonder you're so successful. She just smiled really big, which isn't great on radio, but it is so long as I describe.
I'll tell you,
she did blush a little too, which is fun.
I had a home in Antioch, 800 G Street, and then I listed 801 G Street.
Right.
And I have another listing coming up on
80 something. Well, you don't want to share.
Farther down the street on G Street. It's not signed, so I'm not saying.
Fair enough. Okay. Don't count your chickens. So I'm an agent who's never door knocked. I've always been afraid of it. I don't have a listing, and I'm using that as the reason. So I'll be the agent. You be the amazing IPC
You have a new
coach.
listing?
I don't. Melissa,
okay.
I don't have a listing. I've never really door knocked. I'm going to wait until I get a listing, and then I promise that's when I'm going to start your door knocking because I think it's great. It's just not great for me right now.
Get over it.
Oh, okay. Yep. Get over it. How do I get over it? Help me get over it.
You could borrow a listing.
How do you borrow a listing?
Ask someone with a new listing. Ask them if they would mind if you would door knock their listing in the neighborhood, advertising their open house for them.
Yeah, good. And sending an email to your entire office doesn't count as asking for a borrowed listing.
Well, some agents, I have to say, like it when people email. I personally appreciate a text message or a personal email.
Yes.
Or a phone call.
All I'm saying is if you just send a blast email out to your office and you don't get a response, don't let that be the only step you take.
Exactly.
Just keep asking. Someone will say yes.
Right.
Right?
Or go ask your manager if they know of anyone that's helpful in the office if you don't know a lot of agents. And
so you would take someone else's listing if you didn't have one and just do the same system that you showed us before where you're door knocking, it's coming soon if you can. You're door knocking about the open house that's coming up. You're door knocking while it's pending, and you're door knocking after it's sold.
People love to hear the results of open houses.
Yes. Why? Why do you think that is?
I think because they're nosy.
Nosy. Yes, there is a voyeuristic nature to residential real estate. People always are curious about what their neighbors are doing, what their neighbors' home sold for, etc. All right, cool. So now you door knock. Do you have a geographical farm?
I do have a geographical farm.
Okay. And so you knock your geographical farm as well as you'll knock and open. It doesn't matter where it is, so long as it's an area that you service, I assume.
Exactly. If I want more listings in that neighborhood, I door knock that neighbor.
Okay. What's your goal? What's your goal from your geographical farm?
My geographical farm is more long-term door knocking. So I established myself by door knocking every other week.
Okay.
So I took 100 homes, door knocked 50 one week, door knock the other 50 the next week, go back. I do that for about 2 or 3 months.
Okay.
And then I just door knock it all once a month now.
Got it.
And then actually after a year or so, I'll get my son to canvas it, and then I'll door knock it every other month.
Okay.
One thing is to be of service. I really liked, I've been going to Rich's newsletter thing.
Yeah.
So I went away from my little just home tips or whatever to...
You like clean out your using gutters? You mean like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they can get that anywhere, right?
Right. Not super powerful.
Right. So I was listening to how he markets his newsletter for his sphere. So I took that format and I put it into my farm.
Share with the class. What's the format?
Okay, the format is on the left-hand side. You have macro, about what the market's doing.
Macro. So macro and micro.
General,
economic data.
Right.
Yeah.
Then micro.
Okay.
What's happening. And then
for those of you that can't see, she's drawing it for you in the air right now. No, it's good. It's great.
Okay.
They're totally seeing it right now. Visually, they're driving with their eyes closed, totally seeing you make squares
and
in
then
the air.
where I think it's heading. So, and then I do thank yous, and those thank yous I'm going to keep in my farm. I want to thank, the Smith family for, accepting my gift for their dog, because I like to bring little gifts. So
okay. Where's mine? I'm not
You're not my farm.
Yeah. All right.
And then on the
right.
And then instead of that, and I have like my Facebook page and everything on there too, but instead of the deal of the week, what I do is I just put like a community service event. So it seems to me that maybe I'm involved in the community.
That maybe I am. All right, good. And that's an email newsletter?
No, that isn't. No.
That's a hard copy
That's
newsletter.
a hard copy newsletter I've been dropping off, because I feel like a bunch of agents always do the CMA on the back. And, and they can find that in the newspaper. They can find that on Zillow, on Trulia. So I want to.
Some of your microeconomic data will have some solds in the neighborhood?
Exactly.
Yes. Okay. Is there anything else that you use to door knock other than this exemplary, reworked, beautiful newsletter?
Yes. I will do community events like decorating.
Like Janet Cristiano's barbecue or something?
Not Janet Cristiano.
No, don't invite everyone to Janet's house. No. Come on.
No, a little bit more fun. I say, who would like to participate in a Halloween door decorating contest?
That sounds more fun than a barbecue.
No, it is, because it gets everyone kind of bonded. So I said, I put a thing out, if you'd like to participate, please, and I make a separate email address with GoDaddy. Halloween contest.
Will you do like a s'more community cook-off and then invite me to that? Yeah, because those are so
You don't
good.
like camping. Only if you stay
I don't like camping, but people have fire pits and stuff,
That's
right?
true.
So I just want some s'mores.
Gourmet s'mores?
I don't care. It's a cook-off, right? So, no, we're not really.
We could do. That's actually a good idea.
See,
cook-off.
I'm an idea guy.
I like that idea. I might have to do that.
Okay.
I might have to steal that from you for Labor Day.
But as long as I get invited, that's really all I care about.
You have to be one of the judges then.
Okay, done.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, sold.
Okay.
All right, so really you're just sort of constantly looking for different reasons to create a sense of community, another reason to knock.
Right.
And sure, sometimes it's about here's what's going on in the market, here's what's going on in the neighborhood, but you want some diversity to what you're bringing.
Right, not just be about real estate.
Got it.
They know I'm in real estate. I wear my name badge. They see it.
And so the volume of knocking that you're doing, you're really getting that to create mind share, right?
Right.
So that it's almost impossible for them to not think of you when they think of real estate.
That's what I want.
That's the goal. Very nice. So you farm both geographical farm and a non-geographical farm. What's the difference between a non and a geo farm? What's the difference?
So a non-geographical farm is a farm that is not centered around one community.
So you could farm the swim team if you had a kid that was on the swim team.
Exactly.
Or you could farm the Rotary if you were
My favorite farm right now
Mhm.
is people that bought between 2007 and 2008 because they might have equity now.
And so you have a list of homes that you will door knock and mail and do the whole 9 yards to?
Yes.
Very cool. In areas that you service?
In areas I want a listing.
In areas you want a listing. Got it. Okay. Any other ideas of non-geographical farms that you can think of that you might want to take advantage of?
Don't do short sales right now. They're going away.
Don't do short sales. So
I would stop door knocking. I've been door knocking notice of defaults for years. It's not as productive anymore.
Okay, because they may have equity and they can keep their house, or why?
They're coming up to equity. They're in the process of getting a loan mods. Banks are loan modding.
Yep.
And they're not as much trouble. People are getting jobs again. I found out because I
found out too trying to drive here today because Bart's on strike. So yeah, there's a lot of darn people with jobs. I mean, great, I'm happy and all, but can we dial the traffic back a little bit, please?
So less people are in trouble. There are some people that are still in trouble, but as far as picking a
Sure.
a farm. I just don't. I
Hence-
think you should look to the future
Okay.
because you don't want to be in the past. You want to market to what's happening or what you think is going to happen in the future.
Hence your reason for 07, 08 purchasers and marketing to them.
Right.
Right. Okay. Anything you'd add then? If you're going to add a farm today, what would you add? I'm putting you on the spot. Go.
If I would add
The one you just did, which is the 07, 08 purchasers.
in Lafayette,
In
California.
Oh, great.
No one else do that.
No one will. No one's listening, so it doesn't really matter. That last little bit was just between you and me. No one heard that. Lafayette, California, everybody.
I'm trying to break in the market. Or not.
All right, good deal. Good deal. So we've talked about this sort of mingled and sprinkled in our discussion, but just give me a sort of checklist of the 2, 3, 4, 5 best items of value that you've used for door knocking.
What I did about a year ago, I got 5 CMAs and 1 door knock with it. I know.
Why don't you just do
no
that?
listings yet, but
Why
I
don't
got
you just
5
do that
CMAs.
every time?
Well, because
share with us what it is first.
all it said was, "What are all the buyers talking about? Inventory, inventory, inventory. Thinking about selling your home? It might be a good time. Please contact me for a CMA."
So you appealed to
Contact my
greed.
director. Yeah.
Yeah, good. Greed.
So-
Greed's good.
Right.
All right. What else? So you spoke to opportunistic, right? So you had
Right.
a piece that created the sense of scarcity. Here's an advantage to take advantage.
Right.
Here's an opportunity to take advantage of something that's going on in the marketplace.
Exactly.
Okay, good. What else? Your newsletter that you mentioned.
I just started doing that.
Can you send us a sample of that? And we'll email it to everybody that's on the show.
Rich Casto has one.
Okay, I know, but he's not in the room and you are. So will
Yes,
you
I
send-
can.
All right, great. And Joe, we can email that to everybody that's on the call?
Yep.
All right, perfect. We'll get a sample of your newsletter out to
Okay.
everyone so they can go door knock in Lafayette. All right, keep going. What else?
That's not where my farm. That's where my non-geographical farm is. in Lafayette.
Okay. All right.
Lafayette's too hilly to have a geographical
No
farm.
kidding. Yeah. good
And they
point.
don't like it when you door knock. I found that out.
They're a little scary bear about that.
They have some laws.
They got, they got
So you have to have
laws.
a permit.
Oh,
You have to be like go get a permit from the city council.
to go door knock?
No soliciting.
I bet those Girl Scouts don't have permits for that.
Well, I am when I'm door knock. I'm soliciting for listings, I guess.
I don't know. Well, what else do you take when you door knock when you're not supposed to in the city of Lafayette?
In Lafayette, I mostly do pop buys. I do like little gifts. People I've already talked to.
Okay.
What's really nice is if you're living on a court, if you have a farm that has a lots of courts,
Yes.
and there's one guy in my geographical farm that is always outside, and he has the most beautiful lawn in the world.
Because he's always outside watering it.
Exactly.
Right.
So I brought him something from, Ace Hardware, with a little gardening kit. And then he goes and tells all his neighbors. And then I come to find out another neighbor also gardens. And then she invited me in her backyard. And I got to see how beautiful her flowers were.
Right.
And she's like, "Where's my gift?"
Right.
So-
Where's my gardening pack?
Right. So sometimes it's not always advantage to bring everybody a gift.
Sure.
Just bring one person that's like the neighborhood spy.
The neighborhood talker.
Exactly.
Every neighborhood has one.
Do you believe that real estate agent and what she brought me? She was so nice.
Right.
So I'll bring my favorite thing is to bring their dogs gifts. And I tell them, "Oh, I didn't really come see you. I came here to see Sparky today."
Sparky.
And I
That's
Sparky
a great dog
gift.
name. Sparky.
So I brought Sparky a gift.
Nice. So really, for the door knock, as far as the collateral or the leave behind or whatever, that's mostly just between our ears, right?
Right.
It's whatever is going to get your fanny out into the
You
neighborhood.
could bring your smile and your business card.
And that would be something.
Yep.
Yeah. So I've found, and I think it's really intelligent that you do it this way, but I've found that there's a much lower barrier to entry for door knocking around an open house than there is for door knocking around a farm or something where it's a little more, hey, I'm knocking on your door to list your home. There's a lot more resistance to that than there is to door knocking to say, hey, I want to invite you to a party that I'm throwing on Sunday, right? And
It's more fun to door knock an open house.
so you've said it already, but I just want to reinforce it. Using that, if you haven't done it before, if you've never door knocked, start with do an open house this Sunday, even though it's 4th of July. There'll still be people out looking at houses. If they show up, they're motivated. Or if
They're real buyers.
they are real buyers.
Or sellers.
Correct. And most people will be out and about and around.
I think this weekend's a great opportunity. And let me tell you why. People are having barbecues at their houses. And not only they're going to come, you're going to meet their friends.
It's a good time to door knock. They'll be around.
Well, even if you door knock on Friday and they say, oh, I'm having a barbecue, my first response is going to be, I'm actually doing a mega open house this weekend.
Nice.
And I'm going to say, hey, bring your friends. Their friends probably own houses.
Right.
That thinking or want to buy, who knows, So you're not only getting the neighbors this weekend, you might be getting the neighbors' friends and relatives because of the barbecues happening.
Well, and really, the best open house is the one you do. The worst open house is the one you don't do. So, I mean, if you start getting all in your head about what's the, quote, perfect weekend, unquote, to do an open house, you will end up doing fewer than you should.
Well, same with door knocking.
Same with door knocking.
You say, I don't want to door knock at 5 o'clock because everyone's eating dinner. Well, some people eat dinner at 7, okay? That's my family.
Right. So if you knock at 7, you're interrupting dinner then. Yeah, I've found that we as human beings use that perfection thing as a rejection avoidance tool.
And if you're going to door knock, make it a commitment, like making an appointment to your business. If you're going to use this as part of your strategy, always say, I am door knocking every Friday at 4 o'clock. I'm going to go back to Ashton. He door knocks from 4 to 6. Monday through Friday, and that's his commitment to his business, and he's been doing it. When he schedules something else during that time, the day before, not the day after, he's been door knocking 100 doors. And how do I know this? Is because I ask him. I know because I'm his coach. So I'll be like, you made an appointment. What about your door knocking? I know you're door knocking 4 to 6.
Right.
He's like, oh, no, I door knocked 100 doors yesterday.
Right.
I'm like, okay.
Right.
So you make that a commitment.
The big key is to I get it. When I first started in the business, I had some knock avoidance. It wasn't something that I was super excited to do. And mostly that's because in my psychology, my home is kind of my sanctuary. And so when I got home, that's where I unplug. And the mental construct for me was hard to get over because knocking on someone's door, I'm now interrupting their sanctuary. And so I started very non-threateningly with using open house. And after doing that for a while, I really quickly realized it's not that big a deal. But for me, that was sort of the training camp for door knocking, was door knocking around open house. So if you have some reticence to it, I want to challenge you to make a personal commitment to door knocking around your next few open houses and just have an experience.
And practice also, because door knocking's great, but if you spend 30 minutes at a door talking to someone and you don't ask for their contact information, you might as well just stay home.
Right.
Because you're out there to work.
In the beginning, just knocking on the door will freak you out enough. So start to migrate towards knocking on the door. Then the next
I just say jump in the pool.
Okay. Melissa wants you to drown, which I'm cool with too. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Jump in the pool because you know what? It's going to be
Melissa.
awkward.
Melissa is basically door knocking floaties. So go with Melissa.
Here's the thing is, if you door knock on a door and you stumble around your words, the next door that you try on, you're not going to stumble as much.
And if anyone who's on the show today wanted to go door knocking with you, would you let them accompany you so they could see and observe?
They would have to invite me to an open house.
Oh, okay. So, but then you'd go with them.
Darn right I would.
Darn right you would. Darn right. See, darn tootin'. What's your email address? Go.
Melissa.
Yes.
At melissacase.com.
There you go. All right. Cool.
All righty.
So, Melissa, thank you so much for your time. We know how valuable it is. Tons of content in there, in and around door knocking, a willingness to open your calendar to help people do it. Thank you.
I got to email you my newsletter.
You got to. I know. You left here with a bunch of work, and I don't leave here with anything to do. It's pretty great to have your own radio show. You should start one. I'll come be a guest, and then you make me leave.
I've started with YouTube channels, showings for my clients.
So you're taking. Okay, this is bonus coverage, ladies and gentlemen. Breaking news. So you take video or shots of homes that they could see and put them on YouTube? Right.
This is a home that I thought you might like. I walk through it. First I walk through it, then I get my camera on, and then I walk through it and narrate it. I post it on YouTube, unlisted.
Right, private channel.
Right, and then send it to them via email.
And what's the response like on that?
My buyers love it.
Very cool. Nice.
Because they don't have to travel to see it over the bridge in traffic because of everyone on the...
Because Bart's done.
Right.
Right, for now.
They're really going to love it now.
For sure.
And actually, another good reason, too.
Do you use that? Sorry to interrupt, but do you use that for buyers that are kind of, that's the only way I can get a word in with you. Do you use that? Do you use that for buyers that maybe aren't fully active yet as a way to see if you can goose them into becoming more active?
So usually when you hold an open house, I'll pick up a buyer and maybe 3 leads from that buyer.
So you follow up with the leads with a video.
I feel this is a home that I just showed. Thought maybe you might like it as well. Please let me know if you'd like me to personally escort you through the property.
You're super smarty pants. That's really good.
I got that from you, actually.
Oh, well, apparently I'm super smarty pants. No wonder I like the idea so much.
Video. Another thing is really great, too, is if you use it on your current buyers and you're in contract on that house, if anything comes up missing, I have a whole YouTube video of everything in the house.
Right. Bill Jansen's going to be on later this month telling you why that's a bad idea. But no, I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. No, I'm totally kidding. I'm totally kidding. No, don't be freaked out. It's not a big deal. Well, sell enough houses, you're going to get sued. What are you going to do? All right.
Just send a message out.
Melissa, thank you so much for helping us all get sued. That was great. I'm just kidding. Thank you for your time. I know how valuable it is. All right. See you later. Oh, wow. Applause. A spontaneous audience applause. So now I'm going to introduce the lovely and talented Miss Rena Newman, who is with Fidelity National Home Warranty and something else. And Disclosure Source, right, that. And you're going to tell us just a little bit about why do sellers, now I know we normally think about buyers and a home warranty, but why do sellers want a home warranty package while their property is being listed?
Oh, very good question. Thank you.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Yeah. Good morning.
Seller's coverage has been around forever, and it's probably one of the best kept secrets in the real estate industry. It's for a few things. Number one, it's a great listing tool when you're knocking on doors and getting that listing, or you're going to a listing presentation and letting them know that besides you do A, B, C, D, E, F to get their listing sold.
What about G? You don't do G? All right. Fair enough.
F would be Fidelity Home Warranty.
Oh, God! See, she's so good, ladies and gentlemen. Look at her. Okay, all right, I see you.
So you could tell them part of my marketing plan to get your house sold is I put a seller's coverage. So if something breaks within that listing period or escrow period, then if it breaks due to normal wear and tear, it would be covered by the home warranty, thus saving the seller lots of money.
Right. And inevitably, right, I like your second bullet. Your second bullet point is Murphy's Law. When a home gets listed, something will go wrong.
Yes. So I've been selling home warranties for 18 years now.
You started when you were 6.
Yes.
Great.
And I cannot tell you the number of times I will get a call from a listing agent saying, we're closing escrow tomorrow and the hot water heater broke today. Is that going to be covered? And the answer is?
No ski.
Thank you. Okay, so when you close escrow, that's when the warranty starts.
Right. Unless
they have seller's coverage.
Dun, dun, dun. All right, look at that.
And it happens more time than not, and I do that when we're in office presentation. How many people have had a water heater break the day before closing?
Or an air conditioner go out because it's 200 degrees.
And that's even the best time now within this area to have seller's coverage, because the Comprehensive Plus plan includes the air conditioning with it.
Plus. Yes. Yeah. Anytime the AC is firing up for the first time, that's when it's going to break.
Exactly. So we have
that. Emma asks, what's the cost for a seller's home warranty plan?
Well, it varies.
Okay.
Okay, so we have the condo, townhouse, mobile home plan. The Comprehensive Plus for a single family is $1.01 a day. So the most you're going to pay is about $32 a month to have this.
Okay.
Again, going back to listing presentations, you can say as the listing agent, you will pay for it, or you can offer it to your clients if they want to pay for it. And we actually have a Fidelity seller's coverage form. So if you're interested, contact your local rep and they can email it to you. So it reminds you when you're there with them and there's a place to accept or decline to have this.
If you'll just email that to us, we will make sure everyone that's on the show Forget email. It just got handed across the desk. So
That's
it's
my email.
considered
Dinosaur
email. Right. Way to dinosaur. Way to go, Tech. That was nice. So we'll push out a copy of that to everyone that's on the show so they can have it. So Cliff's Notes in, and the cost is somewhere around $1 a day. So if I looked at this as part of my marketing expense and a way to differentiate me when I go on a listing presentation, I mean, if it's on the market for 30 days, you've got a 30 to 45-day escrow, and then you bake in maybe a little extra time for whatever. For $90 to $100, I've got a differentiator that also protects my seller in the event that something goes crazy while we're in escrow.
Actually, yeah. And actually, think outside the box. You could be a buyer's agent.
Yes.
And on the line in the contract, it says,
to make your offer a little more sexy.
there you go. We're all about that.
Right.
So you can put in there the buyer's agent to pay for seller's coverage while you're in escrow.
Well,
all right?
That's a good one.
So if something does break, now you have a negotiating tool, because who wants to negotiate repairs during escrow?
Correct.
That's crazy.
Nobody.
So I have an agent here in Pleasanton. Every time she represents a buyer, she writes in that she's going to pay for seller's coverage.
That's interesting, because if something goes wrong, now how do you, so can I ask you the hard question on that one? Uh-oh. It's just you and me. No one's listening. All right.
No, it's not covered.
Oh, okay, perfect. Right. No, you must be in home warranty. So how do you balance then if I have a seller home warranty and we get the inspection report back and it calls a bunch of stuff, but it's maybe still functioning, but it's at the end of its useful life. Is that, you get where I'm
with
coming
that
from?
Question, if it's near or at the end of its life but it's still functioning, it would be covered by the home warranty when it does break.
Got it.
Okay. It's really important, especially like you said, we're getting out of this REO and short sale life now.
Yep.
But remember, the seller's coverage is not to be used as an insurance policy against the home inspection report.
Right.
A lot of agents are putting that on as they're driving to the home inspection. All right. And then all these line items come up. This needs to be fixed. This is broken, 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 broken. You have to remember, when you put seller's coverage on, it has to break from the time it was put on until the claim is placed.
Got it.
All right. So if you go today to your home inspection and you order it and it calls that the air conditioning is broken, it's frozen, and it's rusted, that did not happen within that time period.
Yeah.
All right,
so it has to happen before. I can't backdate.
Exactly.
Of course.
So the best rule of thumb is once you take that listing,
get the coverage.
Get the coverage.
Yep.
Call us up. And it is sold in conjunction with our buyer's policy. So if someone does counter or writes an offer and says, I want ABC home warranty company, we do ask that you counter back with us.
Janet has a question. Her hand is up. We have a live studio audience question.
Just a quick question. If the listing, if you put on seller coverage and the listing never sells, do we still pay for it?
Good question.
Great question.
Look at Janet.
Dun, 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 dun.
Outstanding.
No. You like that no answer, huh?
Yeah. That's not no, it's not covered. That's no, you don't pay for it.
Yes.
Wow.
So for any reason, if escrow does not close, all right, we do not charge the seller even if we've performed work at the house. So if the dishwasher fails and we replace the dishwasher and they decide they're not taking that job transfer to Idaho, they just got a new dishwasher on Fidelity home warranty.
Nice.
It has to close escrow in order for us to get paid. And it's also important, if you don't open a pre-escrow and you do order seller's coverage, please call us once you get into escrow with the information so we can bill them. It's what's happening a lot now is people are ordering warranties and it's not getting paid for, and then someone calls in and no, not covered.
Got it. All right. Well, Rena, thanks for helping us think outside the box and sharing some great ideas that our agents can differentiate. Anything else you want to cover with the masses here? This is part of your 15 minutes of fame right here.
It is?
Yeah, totally.
How do I look?
Great. Amazing. Totally.
No, that's great. Just don't forget to call Fidelity Home Warranty and Disclosure Source for all your home warranty and NHD needs. And
all right.
We appreciate everything.
Thanks. We appreciate the partnership with you guys as well. Thanks for being here today.
Love you.
All right.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Have a great day. Stay cool. Don't forget air conditioning coverage.
That's right. Right. On your way out.
On my way out.
Exactly.
Have a good day.
You too. See you later. All right. So our next guest is Janet Cristiano. And she is going to be talking to us about the pros and cons of pocket listings. This ought to be an interesting discussion. So, Janet, what is a pocket listing?
Well, that's not a technical term, by the
No,
way.
it's jargon or
jargon,
slang.
right?
Yep.
But we've been using it for many years.
For generations.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's a listing that has not been put onto the MLS.
Yeah. So it's
For one reason or not, it has not been put on. So it's kind of hidden in the person's pocket, the agent's pocket. Nobody knows about it. It's hiding in the pocket. So that's where it came from. It could be that it's temporarily in that person's pocket,
right.
that agent's pocket,
yep.
until they're ready to put it on to MLS.
So there could be some reason that maybe they're doing repairs.
Yeah, most of the time.
Something that's stopping it from going on the MLS.
Yeah, you come and talk to the seller. You list the property, but they still need to have it staged. They need to do
painted,
things,
carpet,
whatever those things are. So they don't want to put it on to MLS until they're ready.
Got it.
With it. So sometimes a client doesn't want it on the market altogether, on the public market on MLS. So that would be a pocket listing also.
Okay.
One of the things to be cautious about is sometimes pocket listings are referred to listings that maybe an agent thinks they're going to get.
No, right.
They don't really have.
No signed listing agreement.
No
even.
signed listing agreement. So that's really, that may be a reference to in your pocket listing, but it really isn't.
Right.
So
because it's not a listing until you sign a listing
you don't
agreement.
have a signed agreement.
Right.
So an agent would not be wanting to talk to another agent about a listing if it's not if they don't technically have a signed listing.
Okay. By the way, I should have given more context into the voice behind the knowledge that we have here. Janet's been a broker for
36 years.
You started when you were zero.
2,
yeah, zero.
Right.
Right. So you've seen a lot of the machinations of residential real estate. You've seen the cycles come and go. You've dealt with a lot of these things. You're a broker of record for a couple of our offices. So a wealth of knowledge here. And what I love is you have a very practical approach as well. I mean, deals got to get done, right? And you get that because you're out transacting real estate every day. So deals have to get done, but they got to get done the right way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And this is a hot topic,
right?
Because of the the demand of listings right now.
So I'm sure this is in here somewhere, but let me ask.
Follow the outline.
No way. You know me. I know this will drive you crazy, but
yeah, exactly.
Outlines are more like not
that.
Ever. So why do agents take pocket listings?
Well, okay, we're
is
going
that
to
ahead?
change our topic.
Oh, no. All right. We'll do it later.
Well,
let's just go to the next slide.
Okay. Well, so you really have bounced around.
No.
I'm all prepared here.
All right. We'll go to the next slide. Go to the next slide. No. That's good.
No, don't.
No, don't. Okay. Too late. Joe already did. But answer my question anyway.
All right. So there's a lot of reasons why an agent might take a pocket listing, but most of the time it's the client.
Yeah.
It's really all about the client. We're going to get into the devious reasons why
Okay, good. We'll do that later.
We will.
Yeah. Dirty,
But,
naughty little
exactly.
agents. They're naughty
Exactly.
sometimes.
So let's talk about the MLS rules first.
Great idea.
Let's do the technical
that's the
part,
next slide.
That's the next slide.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, we all join the Association of Realtors.
Yes.
We join MLS wherever we're at. We join that. And when we join, we have agreed to mandatory submission of all of our listings into MLS.
So
That's when we sign our name
that we didn't read,
we
said we'll put all of our listings
onto MLS.
Yep.
And if there's an exception to that rule, then we'll deal with that.
Okay.
So in the Bay East Association of Realtors, the MLS rule is 7.6. And probably Contra Costa's got the same MLS rules. And
you mean it's Rule 7.6?
7.6.
Got it.
It says.
Janet brought the actual rule. That's so awesome.
The actual rule, yeah. I looked it up.
But all the
I don't know it by heart, believe me.
You are kind of a contract nerd right now. But every MLS has the same agreement.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah.
And what the agreement says is that a listing, when an agent takes the listing and gets the very last signature. So if you have 7 owners, on the day that the 7th owner signed that listing agreement, the rule says you have to submit it to MLS within 3 days.
Okay.
Okay? So that's the rule.
Barring some other agreement, and there's a form for that.
Right.
Right, which we were going to get to later probably.
We are going to get to it right now.
Oh, great.
If there's an exception to that rule,
yes,
and the agent isn't going to put it onto MLS, then that agent must have a waiver signed by the seller.
And where's that waiver found?
It's you can get it on the Bay East Association site. Your office probably has it. It's used all the time.
Whatever your local MLS is,
right,
has a form that will be a waiver
waiver and certification that the seller signs. The seller says, and there's the form basically says, I, the seller, know that it's not going to go on to MLS. Maybe it's not going to go on until I'm ready.
Right.
It's not going to go on ever.
Right.
Or a specific date.
Okay.
But technically, when you take a listing and you're not going to put it onto MLS, then you need to have this waiver signed by the seller, and then you need to fax it over to your association and put it on record.
Or scan an email.
Scan it and email it. Exactly. So that's your options. Either submit the listing in 3 days or have this waiver signed by the seller and submit it.
And 3 days is the Bay East rule, but each MLS can set their own time.
Yeah, they're generally 2 or 3 days.
Yeah, yeah. So make sure you check with whatever your local MLS is to make sure of the right way to approach that process.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. And again, a lot of this will be we're doing repairs, we're on vacation, we're not really ready, we want the kids to finish school. For any reason under the sun, a seller may want. Yeah. Okay.
So, and be sure that you submit that to the turn that form in to the to your association. Otherwise, you're subject to penalties.
Right.
Yeah.
And those aren't fun at all.
No.
No. So why would a seller agree to a pocket listing when really you're underexposing the home, right?
Correct.
You are not letting the entire world know and the entire agent population know that this home is for sale. Why in the world would a seller ever agree to something like that?
Well, possibly a seller wants privacy. Maybe they don't want everybody calling, everybody coming through. Maybe they only want to deal with the real estate agent that they've hired or the real estate agent that they've hired in that office. It's rare, but it could happen.
Sure.
But privacy may be a big issue.
Yep.
Maybe the situation is fact that there's an elderly person living there, and it has to be handled much differently.
Or tenants, or contentious tenants.
Tenants are a very good example.
There was one that I had where the property was in such disrepair that the seller was nervous that if we put it on the MLS, people would just go show it anyway or find ways to get in, even though we weren't going to put the lockbox on or that kind of thing. But he was very nervous that someone would be injured. I mean, literally floorboards rotted out, fall through. It was a handyman special. So he didn't want it on the MLS at all for fear of the legal ramifications of having such a dilapidated property.
Actually, probably a very good decision on his part.
Probably, probably.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
So there's a myriad of quote legit reasons unquote why someone
unusual circumstances might be a situation.
Let's get tactical for just a second.
Okay.
Let's pretend I am a seller. How do you and I say, look, Janet, I just don't want a bunch of people tromping through the home. I've got a decent reason, but it's not a great reason to not put it on the MLS. Okay. And, it's just, it's not super convenient, and I just don't want all these people romping, stromping, tomping through my house. So I'd rather not put it on the MLS. What do you say to a seller who is considering that as part of their listing strategy?
Well, and a lot of times sellers do think that.
Yeah.
I just go back to talking about the fact that we need to expose this to as many people as we possibly can, and to do that is exposing it to all of our realtors in our area that could possibly have a buyer for the property. So, it's really one of those overcoming objections. I don't want to put it on MLS. I don't want to sign. I don't want my neighbors to know I got it on the market.
Exactly.
Those are the things. I don't want a lockbox. So
I want you to be at every showing.
Every showing. So it's really one of those to overcome those objections. That's not hard. What's happening in our market right now?
Well, let me give the languaging that I use for that, and then I think I know where you're headed, and I want to talk about that too. Is the language that I used for that with sellers was, Mr. and Miss Seller, so long as you're willing to take less money for the property, then I'm comfortable not putting it on the MLS. Because so long as you can bring it into a stark reality that they are going to get less for their property because it's underexposed, especially on something like MLS, because it's so important to proper exposure for the home. So long as they're comfortable making less money, I don't think it's our job to make decisions for people, right? But if they are comfortable getting less for the property, then we should serve them in that way. So sort of what you do, right? Like another
example that I use is I talk about, I sell a lot of homes, but but how many buyers am I actually going to be working with
Right.
when I list your property in your price range?
Yeah.
So you don't really want me to be the only one looking for a buyer for your house.
Right.
So.
Okay, good. Now you were going to say something about sort of the legal ramifications.
Let's talk about the legal ramifications of taking a pocket listing and some of the negative stuff that's going on.
I think this is our first kangaroo on a slide we've ever had, which is pretty cool.
Gosh.
Get it? Pocket listing, kangaroo.
Listing, good.
See that?
That's good.
See marketing doing their thing.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah. I'm a nerd.
All right. Well, so you already talked about it, underpriced sale.
Yeah.
Okay. So pocket listing may encourage an underpriced sale because there's not competition. And we know in this marketplace right now, we have multiple offers. It's changing, and where our inventory is increasing, but we still do have multiple offers.
Right.
And multiple offers drive, full price offers or over
maximum value.
Price. Right. Exactly. The negative thing that's happening sometimes in the marketplace right now is an agent is taking a pocket listing because they want to sell it themselves. It's a selfish reason.
Yeah.
That's dangerous. Logistically, that could be a problem. Legally, that could be a problem.
Yeah.
So really think twice if you're going to consider it, I want to keep it for myself.
Right.
You're not exposing it to the entire brokerage. Again, that drives price, drives the right buyer. It isn't always necessarily the price, too.
Right.
It's the right buyer for that property. The terms, the fact that you're going to be assured that escrow is going to close on time, all of those things. You want your buddy to sell the house.
Right.
So you keep the pocket listing. Extremely dangerous.
Well,
there's some of that's going on right now.
I mean, it's a violation of your fiduciary means you put someone else's interests above your own.
Absolutely.
And so if you're taking a pocket listing because it's what you want or so your buddy can sell it or so you can double end it, then you are not putting someone's interests above your own. No. And it's a breach of your fiduciary obligation, and you got it. You are exposing yourself to a massive amount of legal risk.
Exactly. And losing your real estate license.
Right.
And violation of code of ethics. But, your license is pretty important. So you got it right there.
Yeah.
Breach of fiduciary duty. Especially if agents induce the seller to actually say, let's not put it on to MLS. Now, there are circumstances where it's the right thing to do to not put it on MLS.
But most of the circumstances that are what I will refer to as legit circumstances, they are seller originated, not agent originated. Correct. So if the seller is giving you a reason why they want to keep it off the MLS, then it's a legit reason because it's the seller's property. But if the agent now, Janet, there are some markets. Someone emailed in a question about San Francisco has a lot of pocket listings. There are some territories where it's more common. I know of some stories about the kind of the high end or the ultra high end where they tend to steer. That's maybe a charged word, but there's more pocket listings because there aren't. Look, putting a $17 million house on the MLS may or may not be what sells that property. Not most of the people who are on the MLS don't have $17 million buyers.
Right.
So some of these pocket listing situations, there might be a culture, maybe in San Francisco they take more than they do anywhere else, maybe in this uber high end. How do you feel about that? What are your thoughts around that?
Well, it's dangerous, and there may be circumstances that makes some sense.
Yep.
Okay. You may have, again, you're talking a $17 million listing. You've got a high-profile seller, I'm going to guess.
Right,
okay?
probably.
You have some, security issues.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of legitimate reasons. What you need to be careful of is that you're not holding those listings so that, again, your buddy can sell the listing, or even a group of buddies.
Yeah.
Then we start to get into antitrust. So if that agent were to go to his marketing meeting, his public marketing meeting, and say, I have a $17 million listing that's not going on MLS, that would be legitimate.
Right.
But if he tells his 5 golf buddies or whatever that this is, you can have a chance to sell this house, then that could be antitrust. So you got to really be careful about that.
Which would be a big deal.
Would be a big deal.
So high level, what are the pros and cons of taking a pocket listing?
Okay, so pros.
Yes.
Well, you can sell it yourself.
Right, but that's
Oh,
a pro
boy.
and a con.
That's a pro and a con. That's exactly right. You could sell it yourself, and it may be the last one that you sell
Ever.
as you turn in your license.
Right.
Yeah, just whatever you think.
You'll get
know.
career re-engineered.
Again, the pros might be that it's more convenient to the seller. I've already touched on that. There may be circumstances that the seller wants to do this. The idea of the tenant-occupied property. I manage some properties, so I've had from time to time situations where the seller wants to sell, and it's tenant-occupied. It might be word of mouth that sells a property like that rather than putting it on MLS. Again, most of the time you're doing the pocket listing is to get it ready. Yeah. Because you do want, and I really believe this, when you put it on the market, it needs to look its best. The first impression.
It's a first date, right?
It's a first date.
Yeah.
So if it takes a week to get it ready or 2 weeks to get it ready, that's important.
If it takes someone 2 weeks to get ready for a first date, don't go on a second date with that person. That's too long.
That's true.
Right. So really, the pros and cons piece, a good rule of thumb, what I hear you saying is a good rule of thumb is if it's seller originated, it's a pro. If it's agent originated or sort of because the agent wants it, it's probably a con. No, double entendre there.
Yeah, exactly.
And if it's client originated, then it probably is a pro and makes sense.
Right.
So who is the one who is creating the need or the desire for the pocket listing? If the client's creating it, it's a good thing. If the agent's creating it, it's a dangerous thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
The other thing, just to keep in mind, because of the MLS rules, keep in mind that you need to get that waiver, even if you're holding it off for another 3 or 4 days to put it on the market,
or 3 or 4 months.
Or 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
When we learn. When we go on listing appointments, we want to walk out of there with a listing
signed,
agreement, right?
Yes, heck yeah.
So, but it's not ready to go on the market. Well, great.
Sign it.
And when you walk into that listing appointment, bring one of those waivers for you, and then you can spell out the specific date that you're going to put it on the market.
Yep. Good. So good information sources to learn more about pocket listings?
Bill Jansen comes out with the weekly practice tips. He's got a great one on pocket listings.
He has 2 or 3 on pocket listings, I think.
He does a good job on that.
It's great content there.
You can look at your MLS rules. You can go on the site of your association, go into MLS rules, and you can review it there. CAR has the Q&As. They have Q&As on pocket listings because right now it's a hot topic.
It is.
It's a legal hot topic because of the cons that we've talked about.
Yeah, and we probably don't have time to fully go crazy on this one, but I hear the stories. I've heard the conversations at CAR, NAR, big broker meetings, and some other stuff about groups of agents getting together, sort of the antitrust risk, right? Creating marketing groups and holding their own little off to the side MLS or little groupings of listings.
Very dangerous.
It's so dangerous. I think, look, in this industry, there are always temptations to maybe not do things the right way because you can have some short-term success. But if you want a 30-year career, if you want to endure in this industry, you will not make those choices because you can have some short-term success doing things the wrong way in this business, but you will not make it long-term. And I think that pocket listings are an example of that when they're done incorrectly. You could double end a deal or two here, but you will eventually get weeded out of this business because you aren't doing the right thing. Yeah.
That brings up a thought that I had that I didn't write down, but it just came to me now, is that sometimes agents will put up a sign coming soon.
Yes.
Okay. And so the agent is looking to get a little more promotion so they can sell it themselves.
Yep.
And an agent calls.
Yeah.
So what's the listing agent do with the agent who calls?
Oh, good question.
Is it a valid listing? Well, they have a valid listing. Is it being held off MLS? Yes. Then does the agent that's calling have the right to look at it or not?
Good question.
Yeah.
Do they?
Well, it just depends. Did the agent turn in the waiver? So let's say you see a coming soon sign and you know it's not on MLS.
Right.
You have the right to inquire with the Association of Realtors to see if that waiver's on file because technically that agent has to have it on file. If it's on file, then it's legitimate.
Got it.
If it's not, the agent is in violation.
Penalties head in your direction.
Exactly.
Yep. Janet, I know how valuable your time is. Thanks so much
You're
for
welcome. My
sharing your
pleasure.
knowledge and information and expertise with us.
What a fun Monday morning.
I know, right?
All right, yeah,
All right.
just to be with you.
Oh, thank you. All right. Well, happy 4th of July, everyone. Since that's right around the corner, please be safe. Eat a lot of amazing barbecue and enjoy the 4th. Thanks, everyone, so much for listening. Have a great week.
All right.
You know who Ronaldo, whatever, the guy that does like the seminars on selling on
Ronaldo Montemelango.
on turning over
Flipping properties.
properties.